Hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today for you I've got a collection update. No, this is not for Star Wars book collections. We're going to try it a little differently like I mentioned in the last Star Wars book collection video. We're going to separate all these collection updates into different things. Just some of you seem more interested in one thing rather than the other, so we'll see how this goes. Let me know again in the comments if you want to see more of these. Alright, without any further ado, let's just get straight in to the collection haul because this is a pretty big one. So we're going to start out with some DVDs, and the first two I picked up, I love to pick up behind the scenes stuff, especially stuff you can't really get in any other format. It's really the only reason I pick up DVDs anymore. So I did pick up this Lord of the Rings, Creating the Lord of the Rings Symphony with Howard Shore DVD. I thought that was kind of interesting. As well as the National Geographic. They did one of these for each of the 3 films. This is the one for Fellowship of the Ring. A couple of Star Wars DVDs. You might be surprised that I don't have everything Star Wars on DVD. I do, but I didn't have this, which I've never seen before, The Story of Star Wars. I have really no idea where this DVD came from. I have so many behind-the-scenes Star Wars DVDs and Blu-rays. I have never seen this before. So if you guys know where this came from, let me know, because I've honestly never seen this before in my life. And this was also just a random pickup for the collection, really, as a completionist. Revenge of the Sith on DVD just because it's sealed. I do have this on DVD. I've worn it out on DVD, but now I have a sealed copy. And a handful of other rarer DVDs. I have this one. It's The Blind Swordsman Zatoichi. I've heard of this film before, but I've never seen it. Big fan of samurai movies, or at least the ones I've seen, so I can't wait to check this out. I also got the MPI Media Group release of Rifkin's Festival. I've never seen this. It's a Woody Allen film, and I have never really heard about it, so it might not be one of his best ones, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. This one isn't particularly difficult to find, but I love Jimi Hendrix, and I've never seen this, so I couldn't wait to check out Jimmy Plays at Berkeley. The first TV series pickup I'm showing you here is The Ali G Show. This is the complete series. I love this. I've seen so many of the shorts, but never actually watched the complete thing start to finish, so looking forward to checking it out. I discovered one of the Goodwills near me actually does sell DVDs, Blu-rays, and VHSs all for 25 cents each, so I picked up a few that I probably wouldn't have picked up normally. The first was Anastasia, which I've actually never seen this, but looking forward to checking this out, and it was brand new. Also picked up a couple of Scooby-Doo DVDs, including another sealed one of Scooby-Doo Goes to Hollywood, and Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Picked up a DVD copy of It's a Trap, the Family Guy parody of Return of the Jedi, and then this was exciting for me as a movie completionist, somebody who loves to watch everything that a specific franchise or director has done. This was an Alfred Hitchcock collection, collecting a bunch of the movies that you don't normally see either on streaming or on DVD or Blu-ray, so I felt comfortable picking up this DVD. I was at a library sale, and they had 4 Adventures of Sherlock Holmes movies in this collection. It's brand new, sealed. A film that's harder to find on Blu-ray for sure, but I picked up a DVD just to watch it. It's The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. I love goofy sci-fi and interesting sci-fi, and I'm always wanted to watch this film, so now I finally have a copy of it myself. I've been out of town a lot this summer and spent a lot of time at the beach, and one of my favorite places to go is Santa Cruz, and they are obsessed with the Endless Summer, and I've never seen this documentary, so I can't wait to finally watch this. Another one that's very difficult to find on Blu-ray. Another TV show pickup, and one that's a little harder to find, is The Complete Goof Troop. This is both seasons. And then at Goodwill, I had a big haul of Power Rangers DVDs. These are the ones from Shout Factory, so it includes Wild Force, which was the one I grew up with. I was never a huge Power Rangers guy, but when I watched it, it was Wild Force that I really did get into when I was a kid. They also had Dino Thunder and Time Force, as well as Jungle Fury, and then they had Volume 2 of Turbo, and then Volume 1 of Power Rangers in Space, and then Volume 1 of Zeo. Last few DVDs for this video, and the first one is going to be an IFC film, Alarm. A little bit rarer Wallace and Gromit DVD. This is Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death. I'm a fan of Nick Park's style. I always enjoy claymation or any type of stop motion animation films. I always really appreciate the work put into them. Another classic Disney movie. This is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and this is the special edition or the collector's edition. It comes with 2 discs, and it's one of those weird format cases that has like 1 disc on this side, and then you close it and it has another disc on this side. Continuing that string of horror I have gotten a few of these midnight movie releases from MGM. This one has 2 Debbie Reynolds movies, which I didn't know she was even in horror movies, but it has 2 Debbie Reynolds movies that I think will be fun. Of course, Donovan's Brain, which I'm looking forward to checking out, and then the more iconic The Attic and Crawl Space. I'm looking forward to watching all of these this fall for Halloween. I said earlier that was it for DVDs. I found a few more. Maybe I'll edit this into that part of the video. But this is a little sci-fi double feature. It's called First Spaceship on Venus and Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet. 2 really old, I'm sure very dated sci-fi films. I love old dated sci-fi and horror, so I picked this up to watch maybe as a guilty pleasure. As you guys know from watching my Blu-ray collection, I'm a fan of the Criterion collection, but I've never heard of these Essential Art House DVDs. This was also a part of a library sale that I went to, and all the DVDs were $1, so I thought I'd pick them up because they look very Criterion. Even on the sides here, you can see they look quite Criterion, and I love the presentation behind them. The first one is Lord of the Flies, and the second one is Ashes and Diamonds, 2 films I have never seen. They are presented by Janus Films as well, who does a lot of the transfers for Criterion and a lot of other foreign films that are brought over to the United States. And then that same library sale picked up some kind of rare horror movies, starting with a Corey Feldman movie called Voodoo. No idea what this is about, but it comes in a CD case, but it's a DVD. I looked this up on Letterboxd, and it barely had any people reviewing it, so I'm looking forward to checking it out because I love watching horror movies that like nobody has watched. And then I got a DVD copy of Pumpkinhead, which is also a little harder to find as well. I watched this 5-6 years ago and honestly didn't really like it that much, but I think my taste in cheesy horror has grown a bit more over the years. This one's actually pretty rare. It's Subspecies 4 Bloodstorm, and it's brand new. I almost don't want to open it. I've never seen any of the Subspecies films. Obviously, there are 3 more than this. It's a franchise that I might check out this fall as well. I'm definitely expanding my horror marathon from 31 days to now probably all of September and October. If you guys have seen Subspecies, let me know in the comments. And the last one is a sealed copy of Witch House. I really like this cover. Very much so. Looks like it's a cheesy 80s movie. Maybe it's 90s. It could be 90s or 2000s and just really poorly made. But I love the hand-drawn art on there. Very, very cool. Let's move into some Blu-rays now. And just like with the other ones, these were all thrift store or flea market pickups, starting with a pretty good deal for a brand new television season, which is Mildred Pierce starring Kate Winslet. I felt the same way about season 1 of American Horror Story. Again, never seen American Horror Story, so looking forward to checking that out. Maybe I'll watch it during my Halloween marathon. I usually do 1 TV show or so. Another little bit rarer horror DVD, that's the 2-pack of the Hollow Man movies. Never really heard anything about these movies, positive or negatively, but one has its own little cult following, so I probably will be checking these out for my horror marathon. Now, this one might surprise you guys. I've never owned a Blu-ray copy of Star Wars The Clone Wars, the film. I have most of the TV seasons on Blu-ray, and I own this on DVD, but I never owned the Blu-ray copy. So now I actually have a Blu-ray copy. It was a flea market purchase for $1. With all the hype around Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool and Wolverine, I wanted to check out this movie, Buried. I heard a lot about this when it came out. People were calling it a great little thriller. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I've heard that's one of Ryan Reynolds' best performances, and it looks like a pretty interesting thriller. Might also add it to the Halloween horror thriller marathon. Back to Goodwill for the 25-cent Blu-rays, and I got a brand new copy of Pete's Dragon. I've seen the remake of Pete's Dragon, never seen the original, so I might have to crack this open and watch it. A movie I had absolutely never heard of until I saw it at a library sale. This is The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And then looking at the art, I looked it up both, on the internet to see if it was worth anything. And it's actually relatively valuable, and for Blu-ray standards, it's like $15-20. And this one is brand new, but looking at the cast, I was like, this has got to be kind of good. And then looking at the artwork, I looked it up on Letterboxd, and sure enough, I should have seen this coming before I even looked it up. It's a Terry Gilliam film, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. Actually had good reviews as well, so this is a kind of a fun surprise pickup for me. A movie I've heard about for so many years, never watched it, but definitely looking forward to checking out Crazy Stupid Love. And then finally, of course, to own on Blu-ray, and this is actually surprisingly a little bit more valuable as well, like 10, 15, 20 bucks. Nacho Libre. I don't know if it's just because it's this original printing or never got printed again after the original printing, but Nacho Libre is such a fun movie. I'm glad to own it on Blu-ray as well. Again, only $1. Let's check out some VHSs right now, and these are my clamshell VHSs I picked up. Nothing really too much of value, more so nostalgia pickups. And when I collect VHSs, there's very, very few things I collect. Yes, I'm part of that horror kind of animation collection side of the VHS fandom. I do like collecting those, but I also will collect some things that I just like or have nostalgia for, things in franchises I really enjoy. And that's where The Hobbit falls into. This is a really almost perfect copy of The Hobbit on VHS. You don't see clamshells like this nice anymore, so I thought it might as well pick it up. And then even though I've done this in another collection video, I believe, maybe I didn't show it, but I did pick up Lord of the Rings VHS in an almost perfect paper VHS sleeve, so now I have the clamshell as well. I've seen both of these movies. You can check out my Lord of the Rings rankings, which I think probably still hold the same as they were 2 years ago when I made them. And then the rest of my clamshell pickups for this collection video were Disney movies that I never owned as a kid. I always have had that kind of desire to finish building out the Disney VHS collection. They're not really worth anything, but it's just been a desire of mine. And Black Cauldron I never owned as a kid. Watched it actually when Disney Plus came out and was surprised that it's not as awful as everybody says it is, but I also never owned Fun and Fancy Free. Again, this was one I watched as an adult. Fun compilation movie, but it is relatively forgettable outside of Mickey and the Beanstalk. And then also picked up this little bit harder to find Masterpiece Collection version of Alice in Wonderland. And then another one that I grew up with, but never owned on VHS, Treasure Planet. Continuing with some VHS, I got another pretty nice copy of Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. And then I was walking by a library slot that was giving away stuff for free, and I saw they had 2 X-Files VHSs. One of them was sealed. This one was pretty exciting. It's a relatively valuable one. This is Mother's Day. It's also brand new. It's a very, very low budget old horror movie. One that's also not really that valuable in the horror thriller genre, but I love The Sixth Sense. Another couple horror movies I picked up. Halloween H2O, which is one of the better Halloween movies. I did do a Halloween rankings a few years ago as well, and I think I'm going to do kind of that top 10 style version of Halloween movies this year, so keep an eye out for that list as well as a bunch of other horror lists. But yeah, Halloween H2O, now have it in the collection. And then one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Scream, I now have in the collection as well on VHS. This is like a must-own on VHS. I feel like in general, everybody's got to own Scream. And then it was a buy one, get one free sale for VHSs, so I picked up a clamshell copy of American Graffiti. Obviously a movie I really love and hold in very high esteem because it was George Lucas's second theatrical release film, and the one that really put him on the map, ultimately led to us getting Star Wars. So American Graffiti is a great movie. Check it out if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen it. So not too many anime pickups this time around, but I did find this extremely good deal for Full Metal Alchemist. This is the original series, and I have not seen the original series, only seen Brotherhood. Brotherhood's one of my favorite anime of all time, but this was at the flea market, complete. It's not sealed, but it's complete, has every disc. This was $2. So I was very excited to find this. Another one I picked up for the anime collection is The Castle of Cagliostro. If you speak Italian, it's Cagliostro, not Cagliostro. But it's a really fun movie. For those of you who don't know, Hayao Miyazaki's first movie ever. And I have seen this. I've seen all of Miyazaki's films. And this is really good. Very funny. Got a great wit. You should certainly check this out because a lot of people I feel like miss this one because it's not technically Studio Ghibli. I was gonna try to pronounce this, but I can't remember how to say it. So it's Rurouni Kenshin. So you guys are going to make fun of how I butchered that in the comments for sure. But this is an anime DVD. Never seen this before, never heard of this before, but it was at Goodwill for only $2, I believe, and I kind of just pick up any anime I see at this point, trying to build a decent anime collection. And last but not least, we're going to talk about my 4Ks and Blu-rays that I bought on Prime Day. Yeah, this collection update goes back all the way to then. But on Prime Day, there were a lot of pretty good deals on 4Ks. Certainly spent more than I normally would, because normally I only get stuff at thrift stores. But yeah, here we go, starting with Oppenheimer, a movie I've been wanting on 4K for a long time, my favorite movie of last year. The Batman, also a movie I'm surprised I didn't own sooner. I just haven't been buying new movies that often, but I really enjoyed this movie, as you can see in my tier list of the Batman rankings. Dune Part 1, of course I'm going to own these. Dune Part 2 is one of my favorite movies of the year. Dune Part 1 was one of my favorite movies of the year it came out. Then we have The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. I saw this in high school, and it's been a while since I've watched it. Looking forward to rewatching it on 4K. The Shining, probably my favorite horror movie of all time. I already own this, but now I'm upgrading to the 4K version. I also picked up 2 Alfred Hitchcock Collection 4Ks. This is the one with Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt. This is the one with Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, The Trouble with Harry, Marnie, and The Family Plot. And then this is the one with Rope, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Torn Curtain, Topaz, and Frenzy. I've only seen one of these movies out of these 10, and that is Rope. So I can't wait to check these out. Hitchcock, obviously one of the greatest directors of all time. Not a 4K, but I did buy the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. It was, I think, like 70% off that day on Prime Day, something like that. It was heavily discounted. I've seen every one of these movies. I'm going to do a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking this year. And finally, last but not least, this was the most expensive thing I bought on Prime Day, but I love this collection. Universal Classic Monsters 30 film collection. It's basically every movie that Universal made for Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man, The Creature, Phantom of the Opera, some of the Abbott and Costello movies. I've watched all the number ones of basically all of those, but there's like a good 20 movies in here that I have not seen. Perfect for this time of the year. But that's going to do it for my collection update. Thank you so much for watching again. Let me know if you want to see more of these. I do have a video game one coming as well for all the video games I've bought this summer. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time.